Good morning everyone, and today we will discuss about the differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. Okay, so what is the basic differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell? We have to just divide this section. First point, what is the meaning of this prokaryotic or the eukaryotic cell? We know that the prokaryotic cell that is coming from two words. One is pro, okay, and pro means primitive. Okay, pro means primitive, and another word pro and another word that is carrier. Okay, pro and karyotic, that is coming from the word carrier, and the meaning of that carrier is nucleus. You know that this is the central cell organelle that is present in the cell. In the cell there is presence of a proper nucleus. Okay, if you see normally a typical cell that is having a proper nucleus, and this nucleus is otherwise also called as what? That is actually in Greek term that is called as karyon. So pro and karyon, that is leads to formation of the word that is the prokaryotic. Okay, and the organism which are made up of prokaryotic cell, they are called as prokaryotes. Whereas the organism, if you see the eukaryotes, eukaryotic cell, then it is also coming from two words, eu and carrier. Eu mane hoche kana? Eu mane hoche true. Eu mane hoche true. Okay, and carrier means hoche nucleus. Okay, so in a true, or here we may say that this is the complete. Okay, if the cell is having a true nucleus, that is called as eukaryotic cell. If a cell is having a primitive nucleus, that is called as prokaryotic cell. If a cell having a primitive nucleus, primitive means primitive माने होचे पूर्ण. यदि हमें just normal लीजिए पूर्ण. हमें जानी चु जे जेते बोले अर्थ सरफेस रे जेते नुआ ऑर्गेनिज्म फॉर्मेशन हमार स्टार्ट हैला से टाइम रे जे primitive organism माने फॉर्मेशन हले नॉर्मली यूनिसेलुलर ऑर्गेनिज्म मानकर फॉर्मेशन हला एकोकोसिक प्राणी मानकर पहला फॉर्मेशन हमार स्टार्ट हला तो से टाइम रे जे ऑर्गेनिज्म प्रेजेंट थिला सेटा के कॉलेज काम बोले दे आर कॉल्ड एज प्रिमिटिव ऑर्गेनिज्म एंड समांतर से ऑर्गेनिज्म मानकु जे न्यूक्लियस प्रेजेंट थिला दैट टाइप ऑफ न्यूक्लियस इज कॉल्ड एज प्रिमिटिव न्यूक्लियस. And a cell is having a primitive nucleus, or you may say that the nucleus which is present in case of prokaryotic cell there is a nucleus present. You see, that is normally not a complete nucleus. That's why this is also called as what? This is also called as false nucleus. This is also called as false nucleus. In case of prokaryotic cell, there is presence of a false nucleus. Whereas in case of your eukaryotic cell, there is presence of a true nucleus. Okay. So what is the true nucleus or complete nucleus, or what is the primitive or false nucleus? Let us discuss. In case of eukaryotic cell, there is presence of a true nucleus or complete nucleus. In case of eukaryotic cell, there is presence of a complete nucleus. गोटे यूकैरियोटिक सेल रे गोटे कंप्लीट न्यूक्लियस प्रेजेंट अछि. कंप्लीट न्यूक्लियस हमें कहा कि यदि हमें देखु छु यदि न्यूक्लियस रो पोजीशन देखु छु, इफ दिस इज ए सेल, there is presence of a nucleus. Okay, and if we see a complete nucleus, then a nucleus is made up of some components. One is that nuclear membrane. Okay, न्यूक्लियस रे काना अछि गुटे डेफिनाइट न्यूक्लियस रो गुटे मेम्ब्रेन अछि तार गुटे कवर अछि और द एनवेलप अछि ओके सेटा के कहू हम न्यूक्लियर मेम्ब्रेन और न्यूक्लियर एनवेलप okay in case of true nucleus there is presence of a definite nuclear membrane okay and in case of eukaryotic cell there is presence of double membrane nuclear membrane sorry yes double membrane nuclear envelope okay that the nucleus ro je envelope ache that is having two membrane one is outer membrane and another is inner membrane so if this is the nucleus there is presence of a definite nuclear membrane okay one is outer and another is inner membrane one then inside the nuclear membrane there is presence of a nucleoplasm okay kana hoche न्यूक्लियस रो तो डबल मेम्ब्रेन सिस्टम रहला दुईटा मेम्ब्रेन रहला गुटे बाहर गुटे मेम्ब्रेन रहला गुटे भीतर मेम्ब्रेन रहला तापर तार भीतर के जदी जाउ छु सेना गुटे विस्कस लिपिड प्रेजेंट अछि जेने के कहू हम काम बोली करी दैट इज कॉल्ड एज न्यूक्लियोप्लाज्म ओके जहा के कहूतला ओडिया रे न्यष्टि रस तो न्यूक्लियोप्लाज्म प्रेजेंट अछि इन केस ऑफ ए ट्रू न्यूक्लियस and in that nucleoplasm there is presence of what in that nucleoplasm there is presence of another component that is called as chromatin material there is presence of chromatin material okay or we may say that that will lead to formation of chromosome okay so in case of a true nucleus there is presence of a definite nuclear membrane there is presence of nucleoplasm and in the nucleoplasm there will be presence of chromatin material and we know that chromatin material is nothing but that is having DNA and the some part of the DNA which are involved in the protein synthesis that part of the DNA are called as genes okay तो जीन ता केनो प्रेजेंट আছে जीन दैट इज द पार्ट ऑफ द डीएनए जीन होचे काना डीएनए ର ଗୋଟେ पार्ट एंड डीएनए तार काना करছে डीएनए गुरे तुरे हे करे डीएनए टा काना करছে कॉम्पैक्ट हे करे ଗୋଟେ पैकेजिंग फॉर्मेशन करছে ଗୋଟେ डीएनए ର पैकेजिंग हे करे काना होचे तार ଗୋଟେ क्रोमैटिन मटेरियल फॉर्मेशन करছে ओके and that chromatin material is present where that chromatin material is present inside the or in the nucleoplasm okay if all these three components are present in a nucleus okay another component is also present that is the nucleolus okay there is presence of nucleolus okay there is presence of a unorganized there is presence of a area okay we may say that some concept they thought that nucleolus that is having the origin for the ribosome okay तो काना कहूचे there is also presence of a nucleolus or nucleus okay तो गुटे nucleus रे there is presence of nuclear membrane nuclear envelope there is presence of nucleoplasm there is presence of chromatin material that chromatin material having DNA and that DNA having the genes and there is also presence of a nucleolus or nucleus okay तो एतकी चारटा कंपोनेंट जदी गुटे न्यूक्लियस रे प्रेजेंट अछि तो से प्रकार न्यूक्लियस का मैं कहू छु काम लिख लिए दैट टाइप ऑफ न्यूक्लियस इज कॉल्ड एज कंप्लीट न्यूक्लियस ओके से टाइप रे न्यूक्लियस को कहू छु मैं काम लिख लिए दैट इज कॉल्ड एज कंप्लीट न्यूक्लियस एंड जेल सेल रे गुटे कंप्लीट न्यूक्लियस having the nuclear membrane having the nucleoplasm having the nucleolus and having the chromatin material that type of cell is called as eukaryotic cell okay so the example देखो जो in case of your animal there is presence of eukaryotic cell in case of plants there is presence of eukaryotic cell okay and when we are concerning with the prokaryotic cell there is presence of there is absence of a complete nucleus okay and here the nucleus will be called as what here the nucleus will be called as false nucleus. And false nucleus काय के कहमा if there is absence of the nuclear envelope. माने here the nuclear envelope is absent. Nuclear envelope कौन আছে? Absent আছে. तार गुटे proper membrane नहीं no. Then there is absence of nucleoplasm. जदि गुटे surrounding नहीं no ताकि जदि cover करवा ले किसी नहीं no तो तार गुटे nucleoplasm भी नहीं no. Okay, there is absence of nucleoplasm is also absent here. Okay, then there is also absence of what? There is also absence of nucleus. But the chromatin material is present here. Okay, as we know that nucleus which part is very functional. The chromatin material part is functional part of the nucleus. Okay, as we know that this chromatin material is made up of DNA and DNA के को ऐसे काम बोली करी DNA के को ऐसे genetic material बोली करी कोई चीज़ कहने जी genetic material के बोली करी कोई चीज़ because the DNA is having gene and गुड़े gene रा काम हो जे it will regulate the character. Okay, हमार organism human being हो कि जिनसे भी प्रकार organism हो से organism रा character के regulate करवा किए that is regulated by a gene. Okay, so that the chromatin material in case of your prokaryotic cell that is only present in case of your nucleus to the consider koruchu but there is only presence of chromatin material but the nuclear envelope is absent, the nucleoplasm is absent, the nucleolus is absent, but only there is presence of a naked DNA or the naked chromatin material. Why this is called naked? Because you can see nuclear or definite nucleus or definite membrane absent achi tar to definite membrane absent achi so that is called as naked. So that hame kane कहता है in the prokaryotic cell there is absence of a definite nuclear membrane and there is only presence of a naked DNA or naked chromatin material. तो कौन है prokaryotic cell जदि देखो जो suppose this is the cell, okay, suppose this is the cell, okay, there is only presence of the chromatin material. Okay, if this is the cytoplasm, in the cytoplasm there is presence of chromatin material. But in case of your eukaryotic cell, there is presence of this is the cytoplasm. But in the cytoplasm, there is presence of the main cell organelle that is the nucleus. And inside that nucleus, there is presence of chromatin material of the DNA. Okay, but here the DNA or the chromatin material that is present in the cytoplasm. This is another difference between the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. Okay, and in case of prokaryotic cell, the chromatin material, the position or where that chromatin material is present, that part is called as what? That part is called as nucleoid. That part is called as nucleoid. Okay. तो हमें इस जगह न्यूक्लियस जब यूज करूँ जो टर्म तो इस जगह हमें कहाँ यूज करी पर मत टर्म न्यूक्लियोइड. ओके सत्य के कोई जगह में लिखी न्यूक्लियोइड बोली की कोई यूज है. And in case of prokaryotic cell, the nucleus is also called as what? That is also called as primitive nucleus, as well as that is also called as incipient nucleus. That is also called as incipient nucleus. Incipient माने प्रारंभिक. Okay, that is also called as incipient nucleus because जब तक formation हैला पहला life से टाइम रे जन ऑर्गेनिज्म माने देखबार के मिलुथुला से ऑर्गेनिज्म माने तोर जन बॉडी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन थिला तकर जन सेल रो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन थिला दैट इज वेरी सिंपल बहुत सिंपल थिला तो सना हेती किछि डेफिनाइट तार मेम्ब्रेन नै थई एंड डेफिनाइट न्यूक्लियोप्लाज्म नै थई एंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स जहां मैं डिस्कस करे छु यूकेरियोटिक सेल रे. ओके तो इटा होचे तमे जदी न्यूक्लियस के ओनली कंसीडर करू छु देन दिस इज द डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन द प्रोकैरियोटिक एंड eukaryotic cell. Okay, in the next class we will discuss about the other differences between the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. Thank you.